Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodha Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodha Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. 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 Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Astottara Sarasri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Mayapur Navadip Dhama Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So this morning we are observing the divine disappearance day anniversary of Shripad Madhavendra Puri, who is the Param Guru, the grandfather spiritual master of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is also Ekadashi, and generally on Ekadashi we read from the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. But this morning I was looking at the extent of the discussion in the Chaitanya Charitamrita about Shripad Madhavendra Puri, and it was quite extensive. And to me it felt like it would probably take up most of the time that we have this morning. So with that in mind, I thought we'll just read from Chaitanya Charitamrita about Srila Madhavendra Puri and a comment here and there about the glories of Shripad Madhavendra Puri. Okay. So we will try to read from 3 sections of the Chaitanya Charitamrita about Madhavendra Puri. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Adi Leela, chapter 9, entitled The Desire Tree of Devotional Service. A summary. A summary of chapter 9 has been given as follows by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya. In this chapter, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita has devised a figurative example by describing, quote, the desire tree of bhakti, unquote. He considers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is known as Vishwambhar, to be the gardener of this tree because he is the main personality who has taken charge of it. As the supreme enjoyer, he enjoyed the fruits himself and distributed them as well. The seed of the tree was first sown in Navadvip, the birth site of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then the tree was brought to Purushottama Kshetra, Jagannath Puri, and then to Vrindavan. The seed fructified first in Srila Madhavendra Puri, and then in his disciple Sri Ishvara Puri. It is figuratively described that both the tree itself and the trunk of the tree are Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Paramananda Puri and 8 other great sannyasis are like spreading roots of the tree. From the main trunk, they extended 2 special branches. Anybody can guess who those special branches were? Anyone? Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu and Lord Nityananda. And from those branches grew other branches and twigs. The tree surrounds the entire world, and the fruits of the tree are to be distributed to everyone. In this way, the tree of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu intoxicates the entire world. It should be noted that this is a figurative example meant to explain the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, text number 10. Jaya Shri Madhava Puri Krishna Prema Pura Bhakti Kalpatarura Tenho Pratama Ankura. All glories to Shri Madhavendra Puri, the storehouse of all devotional service unto Krishna. He is a desire tree of devotional service, and it is in him that the seed of devotional service first fructified. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Madhavendra Puri, also known as Sri Madhava Puri, belonged to the disciplic succession from Madhvacharya and was a greatly celebrated sannyasi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the 3rd disciplic descendant from Sri Madhavendra Puri. The process of worship in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was full of ritualistic ceremonies, with hardly a sign of love of God. Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first person in that disciplic succession to exhibit the symptoms of love of Godhead, and the first to write a poem beginning with the words, Ai Dina Dayardranath, O Supremely Merciful Personality of Godhead. In that poem is the seed of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cultivation of love of Godhead. Then we will go to the main section of this morning's discussion, the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 4, entitled Sri Madhavendra Puri's Devotional Service. So Srila Prabhupada, in this section that we just read from the Adi Leela, describing the Bhakti Kalpataru, the great tree of devotional service that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that figurative example, we find a very clear indication of, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that full manifestation of bhakti, the full expression of Krishna prema, Krishna bhakti. But it first started to manifest in the heart, the character, the behavior, and the devotion of Srila Madhavendra Puri. It's described, as we will read later on, that the depths, the unlimited depths of love of Krishna was only understood by three persons. One verse, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says that no fourth person could understand the unlimited depths of love of Krishna. And those three are described to be, anybody can guess? First and foremost is Srimati Radharani. And then, no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the third person is, who we're reading about today, Madhavendra Puri. So no fourth person was able to understand those depths. This is how special Madhavendra Puri is. That coming in the line of disciplic succession from Madhvacharya, the Madhva Sampradaya, as Prabhupada said, it was very much filled with ritualistic ceremonies, very much focused on the external shows of worship. Yes, to Krishna, no doubt. But it wasn't softened with a heartfelt experience of devotion, of relationship with Krishna. And for the first time did we find an Acharya expressing very openly his love for Krishna, almost in the sense of showing deep emotions of love and affection for Krishna. It was first manifest in Srila Madhavendra Puri, especially this very sacred, very rare aspect of Vipralamba Bhav, of serving Krishna in separation. Not really known, not really manifest, not really spoken about in any other sampradaya, in any other tradition that is cultivating service to God. Only in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. And it first came from Srila Madhavendra Puri. Okay, so let's read about the devotional service, the actual presentation, the actual activities of the devotional service of Srila Madhavendra Puri. So this is Madhya Lila, chapter 4. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Kirachur. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopal, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to the public vision. So here Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is very briefly indicating two very significant pastimes in the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Two exceptionally significant pastimes which will be expanded upon as this chapter develops. So let's go ahead to... Yes, so we find that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is traveling with Nityananda Prabhu and all other devotees, traveling through Orissa, and then they come upon the very famous, significant temple in Remuna of Gopinath. This is the deity of Gopinath. And when they got there, we find that the Lord, he visited the Remuna temple and found the deity of Gopinath to be very attractive. He was very much in awe of the deity. So let's read what happened when the Lord entered the temple. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of the Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers, the crown of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down, and guess where it landed? It landed on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways, and that night the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri, of what had once happened there. That deity was widely known as Kshirachora Gopinath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotees the story of how the deity became so famous. So now Lord Chaitanya is going to recount that story that he had heard from his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri. Formerly, the deity had stolen a pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri, and therefore he became very famous as the Lord who stole the sweet rice. What is that name? Kshira Chor Gopinath. Chor means a thief, one who steals, and Kshira means the sweet rice. Incidentally, one of our very dearmost disciples of Srila Prabhupada, his brahmachari initiated name was Kshira Chor Gopinath. Anybody know who that is? Don't know? Oh wow. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, his brahmachari initiated name was Kshira Chor Gopinath. Once Sri Madhavendra Puri travelled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as, what's the most significant hill in Vrindavan? Govardhan Hill. Madhavendra Puri was almost mad in his ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up, and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in a proper place or not. After circumambulating the hill, Madhavendra Puri went to Govindakund and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhavendra Puri, and, smiling, addressed him as follows. "O Madhavendra Puri, please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing?" When he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhavendra Puri became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. Does that happen to us when we come before Radha Radhanath and see Radha Radhanath, and we just bathe in the beauty of Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Mahaprabhu? And let's say it's a full day fast, and when we come to Radha Radhanath at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, do we forget our hunger and thirst? I keep looking at my watch. Okay, when is it moonrise? When are we going to break fast? But here Madhavendra Puri, even though he hadn't eaten for so long, who knows how many days, and he must have felt hunger, but seeing the beauty of this cowherd boy, he forgot all his hunger and thirst. This comes with love of God. Madhavendra Puri said, "Who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting?" The boy replied, "Sir, I am a cowherd boy, and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts." That's a nice village to live in, huh? No fasting. "In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk. But if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables." This is a particular type of renunciation that some great devotees undertake, where they will not eat. They will not make any arrangements for their meals, nothing. They will not go and ask anyone. They will just fast. And if someone happens to come and offer some donation of food, then only will they accept. Very, very austere, very determined. His Grace Ayendra Prabhu once did that, I think for some extended period of time. He never announced it to anybody that this is what I'm doing. He just started it quietly one day. And he'd only eat if someone happened to come, "Oh Prabhu, would you like some prasad?" Okay. He never asked, never made arrangements. It happened for quite a while, it went on. So Madhavendra Puri, he was doing the same thing. "The women who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you." Of course, I should just maybe clarify that that type of activity, that type of fasting is not really recommended for preachers. Because to preach effectively, we need healthy bodies, a healthy mind. We need to take care of the body. So we should not think, hey, let me get tremendous potency by trying this fast. No, we should be practical and act and serve according to our adhikar, or our capacity and eligibility. "The women who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you." The boy continued, "I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you." Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more, and Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder. After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked toward the path, but the boy never returned. Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and at the end of the night he dozed a little, and his external activities stopped. In a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the very same boy. The boy came before him and, holding his hand, took him to a bush in the jungle. The boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, "I reside in this bush, and because of this I suffer very much from severe cold, rain showers, winds, and scorching heat. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill. Please construct a temple on top of that hill," the boy continued, "and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. For many days I have been observing you, and I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me? I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience all fallen souls will be delivered." So just by seeing this deity, conditioned souls like me, like us, can be delivered just by seeing the deity with faith. "My name is Gopal. I am the lifter of Govardhan Hill. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority." Who is Vajra? Anybody knows? Vajra Naba is who is he? The great-grandson of anybody knows? Of Lord Krishna. Of Lord Krishna. "When the Muslims attacked, the priest who was serving me hid me in this bush in the jungle. Then he ran away out of fear of the attack. Since the priest went away, I have been staying in this bush. It is very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care." After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Madhavendra Puri woke up and began to consider his dream. Madhavendra Puri began to lament. "I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him." Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. Madhavendra Puri cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal. Thus he became tranquil. After taking his morning bath, Madhavendra Puri entered the village and assembled all the people. Then he spoke as follows. The proprietor of this village, Govardhandhari, is lying in the bushes. Let us go there and rescue him from that place. The bushes are very dense, and we will not be able to enter the jungle. Therefore, take choppers and spades to clear the way. After hearing this, all the people accompanied Madhavendra Puri with great pleasure. According to his directions, they cut down the bushes, cleared a path, and entered the jungle. When they saw the deity covered with dirt and grass, they were all struck with wonder and pleasure. After they had cleansed the body of the deity, some of them said, "The deity is very heavy. No single person can move him." Since the deity was very heavy, some of the stronger men assembled to carry him to the top of the hill. Madhavendra Puri also went there. A big stone was made into a throne, and the deity was installed upon it. Another big stone was placed behind the deity for support. All the Brahmin priests of the village gathered together with 9 water pots, and water from Govindakund lake was brought there and filtered. When the deity was being installed, 900 pots of water were brought from Govindakund. There were musical sounds of bugles and drums and the singing of women. During the festival, at the installation ceremony, some people sang and some danced. All the milk, yogurt, and clarified butter in the village were brought to the festival. Various foods and sweetmeats, as well as all other kinds of presentations, were brought there. I am unable to describe all these. The villagers brought a quantity of tulsi leaves, flowers, and various kinds of garments. Then Sri Madhavendra Puri began the Abhishek, bathing ceremony. After all the inauspicious things were driven away by the chanting of the mantra, the deity's bathing ceremony started. First, the deity was massaged with a large quantity of oil so that his body became very glossy. After the first bathing, further bathings were conducted with Panchagavya and then with Panchamrita. Panchagavya is the 5 substances that come from the cow. Cow dung, cow urine, milk, yogurt and ghee. And then Panchamrita, which is milk, yogurt, ghee, honey and sugar syrup. Then the Mahasnan was performed with ghee and water, which had been brought in 100 pots. After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil and his body made glossy. Then the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water capped with an acorn shell. After the body of the deity was cleansed, he was dressed very nicely with new garments. Then sandalwood pulp, tulsi garlands, and other fragrant flower garlands were placed upon the body of the deity. After the bathing ceremony was finished, incense and lamps were burned and all kinds of food offered before the deity. These foods included yogurt, milk, and as many sweetmeats as were received. The deity was first offered many varieties of food, then sent to drinking water in new water pots, and then water for washing the mouth. Finally, pan mixed with a variety of spices was offered. After the last offering of tambula and pan, bhoga aratrik was performed. Finally, everyone offered various prayers and then obeisances, falling flat before the deity in full surrender. As soon as the people of the village had understood that the deity was going to be installed, they had brought their entire stocks of rice, dal, and wheat flour. They had brought such quantities that the entire surface of the top of the hill was filled. In this way, the Anakut ceremony was performed. and Madhavendra Puri Goswami personally offered everything to Gopal. Many water pots were filled with scented water for drinking, and Lord Sri Gopal, who had been hungry for many days, ate everything offered to him. Although Sri Gopal ate everything, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. Don't we see that every day here? Radha Radhanath's eating everything, but because he has a transcendental touch to his hand, everything still remains there. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. The Lord's senses are interchangeable. He can eat with his nose. If there's one test you want to ask anybody who claims to be God, ask them to eat with their nose. Or eat with their ears. Can you please stuff some food in your ears and see if it gets digested? Or what to speak of the eyes, stuff it in your eyes. But the Lord, He can do that. And by His transcendental arrangement, wow, it's still there. It's still there. How is it possible then? The devotees who sew deity outfits for Radha Radhanath notice that sometimes their outfits are small. A year ago it fitted nicely, but a year later it's small, it's tight. Something's going on there, no? Something's going on. But please don't think the Lord has to go on a diet. He doesn't have cholesterol and sugar issues like we may have. How Gopal ate everything while the food remained the same was transcendently perceived by Madhavendra Puri. Nothing remains a secret to the devotees of the Lord. Arranging for the Lord's rest, Sri Madhavendra Puri brought a new cot, and over this he spread a new bedspread, and thus made the bed ready. A temporary temple was constructed by covering the bed all around with a straw mattress. Thus there was a bed and a straw mattress to cover it. After the Lord was laid down to rest on the bed, Madhavendra Puri gathered all the Brahmanas who had prepared the prasadam and said to them, "Now feed everyone sumptuously, from the children on up to the aged." Seeing the influence of Madhavendra Puri, all the people gathered there were struck with wonder. They saw that the Annakut ceremony, which had been performed during the time of Krishna, was now taking place again by the mercy of Sri Madhavendra Puri. When was this Annakut ceremony performed? When Krishna had directed Nanda Maharaj and all the residents of Vrindavan that instead of worshipping Lord Indra, rather redirect all that effort to worshipping Govardhan Hill. All the Brahmanas present on that occasion were initiated by Madhavendra Puri into the Vaishnava cult, and Madhavendra Puri engaged them in different types of service. So the account of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about Madhavendra Puri's service continues, how he made a whole arrangement of engaging the villagers who were coming every day to perform Annakut ceremony. So for day after day, this Annakut ceremony was being performed for many, many days. Eventually, two Brahmanas in the renounced order arrived from Bengal, and Madhavendra Puri, who liked them very much, kept them in Vrindavan and gave them all kinds of comforts. These two were initiated by Madhavendra Puri, and he entrusted them with the daily service of the Lord. This service was performed continuously, and the worship of the deity became very gorgeous. Thus Madhavendra Puri was very pleased. In this way, the deity worship in the temple was very gorgeously performed for 2 years. Then one day, Madhavendra Puri had a dream. In his dream, Madhavendra Puri saw Gopal, who said, "My bodily temperature has still not decreased. Please bring sandalwood from the Malaya province and smear the pulp over my body to to cool me. Bring sandalwood pulp from Jagannath Puri. Kindly go quickly. Since no one else can do it, you must. Now, from the historic accounts of Madhavendra Puri and the research, Madhavendra Puri is probably in his 80s at this time, when the Lord is saying, no one else can do it, you must do it. To go and get sandalwood sandalwood branches, all the way where? In Jagannath Puri, which is, I don't know, a couple of thousand miles away. No Emirates Airlines, jump on a flight, go there, no Uber, no, rickshaws, no. How did he have to go? Walk through the jungle. How old was he? In his 80s. In his 80s. After having this dream, Madhavendra Puri became very glad due to ecstasy of love of God, and in order to execute the command of the Lord, he started east toward Bengal. One second, what happened here? Before leaving, Madhavendra Puri made all arrangements for regular deity worship, and he engaged different people in various duties. Then, taking up the order of Gopal, he started for Bengal. So look at how responsible Madhavendra Puri. He had this instruction from the Lord directly. He didn't think, hey, everything else is just incidental. I've got this higher order. No. He looked at what he had to do, he managed everything nicely, and then he very quickly left. Of course, he didn't think, oh my dear Lord, I am so busy with so many responsibilities, I cannot surrender to this now. No. He made proper arrangements and immediately left. When Madhavendra Puri arrived at the house of Advaita Acharya in Shantipur, the Acharya became very pleased upon seeing the ecstatic love of Godhead manifest in Madhavendra Puri. This is very interesting. Who is Advaita Acharya? He's the Supreme Lord himself. But see what happens here. Advaita Acharya begged to be initiated by Madhavendra Puri. After initiating him, Madhavendra Puri started for South India. Going into South India, Sri Madhavendra Puri visited Remuna, where Gopinath is situated. Upon seeing the beauty of the deity, Madhavendra Puri was overwhelmed. In the corridor of the temple, from which people generally viewed the deity, Madhavendra Puri chanted and danced. Then he sat down and asked a Brahmin what kinds of food they offered the deity. From the excellence of the arrangements, Madhavendra Puri understood by deduction that only the best food was offered. Madhavendra Puri thought, I shall inquire from the priest what foods are offered to Gopinath, so that by making arrangements in our kitchen, we can offer similar foods to Sri Gopal. Sometimes you find pujaris and cooks, when they visit different places, they try to learn the best cooking or the best types of service done in those places, and they try to bring it back and in an appropriate way also implement it to please the deity. When the Brahmana priest was questioned about this matter, he explained in detail what kinds of foods were offered to the deity of Gopinath. The Brahman priest said, in the evening the deity is offered sweet rice in 12 earthen pots, clay pots. Because the taste is as good as nectar, amrita, it is named, anybody know the name of this sweet rice? Amrita Keli. This sweet rice is celebrated throughout the world as Gopinath Kshira. It is not offered anywhere else in the world. While Madhavendra Puri was talking with the Brahman priest, the sweet rice was placed before the deity as an offering. Hearing this, Madhavendra Puri thought as follows. This is such a nice thought. Right? What happens here? This is what he's thinking. If, without my asking, a little sweet rice is given to me, I can then taste it and make a similar preparation to offer my Lord Gopal. He wanted to taste it for what purpose? For the pleasure of his tongue? Jiva Vegam? No. So that he could figure out what's in it, so I can make the same thing and offer it to Gopal, who is situated in the temple at Govardhan Hill. Madhavendra Puri became greatly ashamed when he desired to taste the sweet rice. So first he had such a noble thought, but he even found fault in his own noble thought. He became greatly ashamed when he desired to taste the sweet rice, and he immediately began to think of Vishnu. While he was thus thinking of Lord Vishnu, the offering was completed, and the Artik ceremony began. After the Arti was finished, Madhavendra Puri offered his obeisances to the deity and then left the temple. He did not say anything any more. He did not say anything more to anyone. Madhavendra Puri avoided begging. He was completely unattached and indifferent to material things. If, without his begging, someone offered him some food, he would eat, otherwise he would fast. Madhavendra Puri left the temple and sat down in the village marketplace, which was vacant. Sitting there, he began to chant. In the meantime, the temple priest laid the deity down to rest. This was in the evening. Finishing his daily duties, the priest went to take rest. In a dream, he saw the Gopinath deity come to talk to him, and the deity spoke as follows. O priest, please get up and open the door of the temple. I have kept one sweet rice for the sannyasi Madhavendra Puri. Sometimes we do that, pujaris? It's nice offering coming out. Hey, that bowl looks very nice. Let's quietly just stash it one place behind this cupboard. Quietly, no one must see it. And then we get so busy doing other things, we forget. We come back a week later. Oh my God, that is there. Oh, how did we figure out it was there? We could smell it because it was rotting. So, but here, who was stashing? Who was doing the stashing? The deity himself, Gopinath, was doing the stashing. This pot of sweet rice is just behind my cloth curtain. You did not see it because of my tricks. A sannyasi named Madhavendra Puri is sitting in the vacant marketplace. Please take this pot of sweet rice from behind me and deliver it to him. Awaking from the dream, the priest immediately rose from the bed and thought it wise to take a bath before entering the deity's room. He then opened the temple door. According to the deity's directions that he heard in the dream, the priest found the pot of sweet rice behind the cloth curtain. He removed the pot and mopped up the place where it had been kept, and then went out of the temple. Notice this little interesting detail there? Wherever prasad is kept, once we finished eating there, we meant to wipe up. Actually, proper Vaishnav Brahmanical standard is, before eating you wipe the place, and after eating you wipe the place as well. So the pujari, just out of natural Brahmanical habit, did the same thing. This is why in the altar also, we wipe the floor before offering the deity, placing the plates on the table, and after the deity finishes, after we take the plates away, we again come back, wipe the tables and wipe the floor. This is proper Brahmanical standard. Closing the door of the temple, he went to the village with the pot of sweet rice. He called out in every stall in search of Madhavendra Puri. Holding the pot of sweet rice, the priest called, "Will he whose name is Madhavendra Puri please come and take this pot? Gopinath has stolen this pot of sweet rice for you." He's going around shouting. Will he whose name is Madhavendra Puri please come and take this pot? Gopinath has stolen this pot of sweet rice for you. This should be our life's goal, that one day a pujari will come out of the altar and cry out, "Oh Ravindra, who is Ravindra Swarup? Please come. Radhanath has stolen a pot of sweet rice for you." This should be our desire. One day, when can the Lord inspire somebody? When can I serve him in such an ecstatic way that our name will be called out by Krishna's representative. This should be the goal. Of course, the goal shouldn't be, actually I'm not a fan of sweet rice, but maybe some other sabji would be nice. No, whatever comes is the Lord's mercy. The priest continued, with the sannyasi whose name is Madhavendra Puri, please come and take this pot of sweet rice and enjoy the prasadam with great happiness. You are the most fortunate person within these three worlds. Hearing this invitation, Madhavendra Puri came out and identified himself. The priest then delivered the pot of sweet rice and offered his obeisances, falling flat before Madhavendra Puri. When the story about the sweet rice was explained to him in detail, Sri Madhavendra Puri at once became absorbed in ecstatic love of Krishna. Upon seeing the ecstatic loving symptoms manifest in Madhavendra Puri, the priest was struck with wonder. He could understand why Krishna had become so much obliged to him, and he saw that Krishna's action was befitting. So the priest could understand just by looking at Madhavendra Puri, just see his response. His physical form is just breaking out into ecstasy. The priest offered his obeisances to Madhavendra Puri and returned to the temple. Then in ecstasy, Madhavendra Puri ate the sweet rice offered to him. Now devotees, listen carefully what happened, what Madhavendra Puri did. After this, after eating all the sweet rice, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot. Again, cleanliness standard. But then what did he do with the pot? He broke it into pieces. And he bound all the pieces in his outer cloth and kept them nicely. Each day Madhavendra Puri would eat one piece of that earthen pot. And after eating it, he would immediately become overwhelmed with ecstasy. These are wonderful stories. So he considered that pot, because Gopinath touched that pot. That pot is also Gopinath's prasad. So even eating that pot, he was honoring the prasad. We don't suggest the same of our steel pots, please. Not very easily digestible. Or not digestible. Now, another very important point comes up about the humility, the intelligent humility of Madhavendra Puri. Listen to this. Having broken the pot and bound the pieces in his cloth, Madhavendra Puri began to think, the Lord has given me a pot of sweet rice, and when the people hear of this tomorrow morning, there will be great crowds. Thinking this, Sri Madhavendra Puri offered his obeisances to Gopinath on that spot and left Ramuna before the morning. Now, do you know why he quickly left? Anybody could reason why he quickly left? Now, I can honestly say, this I'm speaking about me. It may apply to you, may not, but for me, if this has happened to me, and if I understood that next morning, a lot of people are going to find out and they're going to want to come to me and appreciate this, I'd like to hang around and receive that appreciation. Right? It's like, that's what ahankar is. That's false ego and pride. But Madhavendra Puri recognized that this is a dangerous mentality. So instead of waiting around to receive that adulation and that respect and admiration, he offered obeisances immediately and left. He didn't want to have to deal with all of that, because that is a very dangerous thing. Probably the most dangerous thing a devotee could encounter is the fulfillment of the desire for being appreciated by others, being recognized by others. Indeed, in this sense, Srila Prabhupada defined humility in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He defines humility as not being anxious after the satisfaction of being honored by others. Quite a deep definition of humility. So Madhavendra Puri fully embodied this mood of humility. Because he was so humble, he was tasting love of Krishna, ecstatic love of Krishna. Because he was tasting ecstatic love of Krishna, he was so humble. Both go hand in hand. Both go hand in hand. Okay, let's continue the reading. Even though one may not like it, reputation, as ordained by providence, comes to him. Indeed, one's transcendental reputation is known throughout the entire world. Being afraid of his reputation, Pratishta, Madhavendra Puri fled from Ramuna. But the reputation brought by love of Godhead is so sublime that it goes along with the devotee as if following him, like a shadow. Madhavendra Puri wanted to leave Jagannath Puri because the people were honoring him. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. I skipped ahead. So Madhavendra Puri left and he walked to Jagannath Puri. Walking and walking, Madhavendra Puri finally reached Jagannath Puri, which is also known as Nilachala. There he saw Lord Jagannath and was overwhelmed with loving ecstasy. When Madhavendra Puri was overwhelmed in ecstasy of love of Godhead, he sometimes stood up and sometimes fell to the ground. Sometimes he laughed, danced and sang. In this way he enjoyed transcendental bliss by seeing the Jagannath deity. When Madhavendra Puri came to Jagannath Puri, people were aware of his transcendental reputation. Therefore crowds of people came and offered him all sorts of respect in devotion. So although he tried to escape from Ramuna, but the news had already caught up in Jagannath Puri and everybody came. Madhavendra Puri wanted to leave Jagannath Puri because people were honoring him as a great devotee. However, this threatened to hinder his collecting sandalwood for the Gopal deity. So we have a service to do. Madhavendra Puri had a service to do. And in the course of doing one's sadhana, executing one's bhakti, one will gain reputation and honor and following. And in the case of Madhavendra Puri, he knew he had a focus to get that sandalwood deity for his Ishta Devata Gopala back in Vrindavan. And he felt that this adulation, this honoring was going to distract him, was going to be an hindrance to him in his service. So therefore he wanted to leave. Sri Madhavendra Puri told all the servants of Lord Jagannath and all the great devotees, they praised the nectarian characteristics of Madhavendra Puri. And while he related all this to the devotees, he personally relished it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Madhavendra Puri was so fortunate that Lord Krishna personally appeared before him on the plea of delivering milk. This was at Govardhan. 3 times the Lord gave orders to Madhavendra Puri in dreams. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Sri Madhavendra Puri used to remain alone. He was completely renounced and always very silent. He was uninterested in everything material, and for the fear of talking about mundane things, he always lived without a companion. After receiving the transcendental orders of Gopal, this great personality traveled thousands of miles just to collect sandalwood by begging. Although Madhavendra Puri was hungry, he would not beg food to eat. This renounced person carried a load of sandalwood for the sake of Sri Gopal. Without considering his personal comforts, Madhavendra Puri carried one mound, about 82 pounds of sandalwood, and 20 tolas, about 8 ounces of camphor, to smear over the body of Gopal. This transcendental pleasure was sufficient for him. Such inconvenience. 82 pounds is like what? Almost close to 40 kilograms. That's a lot to carry for a person who's so elderly, going across so many thousands of kilometers. This is what the Lord says now. Lord Chaitanya is saying, this is the natural result of intense love of Godhead. The devotee does not consider personal inconveniences or impediments. In all circumstances, he wants to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such behavior exhibited in loving service between the devotee and the devotee's lovable object, Sri Krishna, is transcendental. It is not possible for a common man to understand. Common men do not even have the capacity. After saying this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read the famous verse of Madhavendra Puri. That verse is just like the moon. It has spread illumination all over the world. Continuous rubbing increases the aroma of Malaya sandalwood. Similarly, consideration of this verse increases one's understanding of its importance. As the Kaustuba Mani is considered the most precious of valuable stones, this verse is similarly considered the best of poems dealing with the mellows of devotional service. Actually, this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani herself, and by her mercy only was it manifest in the words of Madhavendra Puri. Only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has tasted the poetry of this verse. No fourth man is capable of understanding it. Madhavendra Puri recited this verse again and again at the end of his material existence. Thus, uttering this verse, he attained the ultimate goal of life. So that verse is Ayidina dayardranata he Maturanata kadavalokshase Hridayam tvaddalokakataram Daita bhamyati kim karomyaham. O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved one, what shall I do now? One who hears this narration with faith and devotion attains the treasure of love of Godhead at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Then finally, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. So I was going to read one other section, but it's already quite late. But I do recommend that you all please read it. Chapter 8 of the Antya Leela. Ramachandra Puri criticizes the Lord. It's a short account of what happened in the very last stages of Madhavendra Puri's life. How he was being very menially and devotedly served by Srila Ishvara Puri, the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, and how his another disciple, Ramachandra Puri, came and greatly disturbed Madhavendra Puri from his deep meditation in separation from Radha and Krishna, Radha and Krishna. And it's a very instructive chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 8, Antya Leela. So please do find some time today and read it. And meditate on the pastimes of Srila Madhavendra Puri. And pray to him today to be blessed with that level of devotional detachment that he had in his service to Krishna, and how ready he was at any time, in any situation, to serve Krishna, even in the most inconvenient of situations. So he can bless us with even a small fraction. That would be our greatest fortune. Shripad Madhavendra Puri ki, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki.